Hey guys, Danielle at Danielle TBD.
Marisa Rothman.
That was laborious. And this is our podcast, We Have Thoughts. And it's the day after the Emmys.
That's why it was laborious.
And which, we feel like though we should talk a little bit about our reactions to the Emmys because it was quite a year, I would say. I mean, I'd go into it every year going, okay, regardless of who's nominated that I personally want to win or personally think deserves to win, I know full well that the Academy doesn't watch everything.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times the same old people win. And we really saw that was not true in the majority of the awards this season.
No, I'm pretty sure the voters were high or drunk.
Okay, but...
Or just basically through random darts.
But what I'm saying is, whatever the reason, the same old people didn't win in every category.
Yeah, they picked stupid winners instead.
Wait a second. Really? Because I got really excited in the beginning of the show when Meredith was the first one to win. I was super happy. I love her. I think she should have won a couple years ago. I think it was actually a couple years ago was a better season for her, but she didn't win that. So I'm okay with them kind of like giving her the late Emmy this year. But so that I thought we were on a really great roll in the beginning with okay, we're outside of the box. We're not going to just hand it to the person who has a million of them already. And admittedly, things then took a turn because it got even weirder in some respects, and it did, I love Jim Parsons, but he hasn't had to grow as Sheldon. Sheldon does not grow, and so he doesn't do anything different year after year, and so you're giving him the same award for the same thing, and that kind of bothers me.
See, I actually disagree with that.
What? That he has to grow, or that he...
That he hasn't. That he hasn't to grow. I disagree.
I mean, comparatively to any other character on television, the amount of difference that he's had to do from season to season.
But the character that he played this year is so wildly different than the character that he played in season one.
See, I don't think so.
Okay,
I mean,
disagree.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he has a relationship with Amy in and of itself means the episodes I'm sure he submitted were just.
But that's not an internalized thing.
But it's
from an
both.
acting choice,
Both.
In the scene, you and I can share a scene together, and what I do. Well, we don't know. We've never tried to act. No, but what I mean is putting him in a relationship on screen, putting him in a scene with another person often is not the same thing as making Sheldon fall in love, and seeing a character like Sheldon realize that he is capable of love, or
but we're seeing him.
is interested.
We're seeing him evolve into that.
I'm not sure that we are, and this is maybe we just disagree.
Yeah.
But that's what I was getting at is just I don't feel like what he's had. He's funny and he's talented, and I'm not saying that he's not deserving. I just feel like again and again and again he's getting the award for the same
I think the year before I might have agreed with that. This year I don't agree with that. And it was funny because that was actually the first win I think all night that I had actually enjoyed. That I was actually like, okay, I agree with this. Where it's just first of all, the show was painful. Forgetting the winners,
the Emmy show,
forgetting the actual winners of themselves, because I have clearly some thoughts about that. But the appropriate podcast.
I was like, well, you can get to those, and we're going to talk about those.
But the fact is that the actual show itself, when he started off, first of all, they ran late, which I'm like, God. I was looking at, because I was actually, I wasn't in the auditorium, I was in the press room, which, if you followed me on Twitter, you know some of the fun that was going on there.
That's why I don't think it's worth going to the press room.
I never had that problem before.
Not just the Wi-Fi, but just the when winners come in, you're missing other things that are going on in the show, and sometimes.
I mean, the way it functioned, it wasn't an issue.
Okay.
I'll tell you more about it when we're not on camera with everyone else, because I don't think they care.
They might care.
They might care, but for the 5% that care, I apologize for not sharing. But the fact is that yes, obviously it's the easy thing to have Neil Patrick Harris open up with a usable number, but it just felt like the way they opened it up was so boring. It's like they were trying to pay homage to TV shows, but it also felt like they were just paying homage to watching TV shows versus actually the shows themselves. Because there were so many, it wasn't you got to experience it. There was 45 different TVs, and you're just okay, so it just felt so underwhelming. And considering that Neil is normally a great host, he's normally a great performer, between that and I personally didn't find the hosts of Emmys Past, as I say, of other things, but I was gonna stop that. It just felt like so cheesy. Like it just the with the exception of Amy and Tina, who
just host it.
Should just be
You should just
in
host
charge.
everything.
I literally, if they wanted to sit there and just speak,
Well,
I will
that's the
throw
thing.
things.
Like next year, you can just put them in seats next to each other, put a camera behind them, and like eavesdrop on what they're saying throughout the show. And I'd rather watch that than the choreographed things.
They're like the richer, famouser, smarter, funnier versions of us.
Well, I don't mean it because of that.